But the thing about prison camp was, it was funny, like when I was in college, I thought that people in prison had it kind of easy. You know, I thought they get like all the good education. I thought that the government paid the inmates before they paid the regular people. As it turns out, I couldn't get a master's degree at Herlong prison camp because I got there during the fall semester, and in order for me to get a master's degree, I had to come during the summer semester or the spring semester when they were allowing new people, new students. I'm sorry, that was for the bachelor's degree. For the master's degree, I would have to ask my mom to do some legwork to find out how it was possible to get a master's degree, and once she got an idea of how to do it, I would take that to the CEO in charge of education. If he approved of it, then I could possibly get a master's degree. Sounds complicated? That's why I didn't do it. I was only going to be there for a year, and I figured if I really want a master's degree, I'll wait till I get home. I still haven't pursued it, honestly. But as far as the other program, let me read this passage and I'll explain more. I felt the programming was about meeting the admins and CEOs quota and proving to the American public that the prison was attempting to help the inmates while putting the blame for inmates' post-prison success squarely on the inmate. A lot of the times, inmates didn't learn anything at their jobs or schooling, yet they were forced to go because they had to prove that they were going to change. Also, the jobs helped keep the camp and the FCI functional and self-sustaining by using cheap labor to repair equipment and feed inmates and avoid the high cost of professionals such as repairmen and caterers. Also, GED classes were a way to get additional funding for the camp. The more inmates in GED classes, the more the federal government would fund the camp. I'm not sure how or where the money was given, however. One of the programming things we had to do was called threshold training, or the threshold programming. The theory behind it was they were going to give you a handout, 8th grade level, and you were supposed to go through it and you were supposed to teach the inmate what it was like to go home, what it was like to build relationships, what it was like to deal with your kid again, what it was like to deal with people in the real world. The inmates that took the class complained that they learned absolutely nothing from it. They also complained that the CEO in charge, who was also the chaplain in charge of the religious services, more or less rambled and just talked about how good he was, everything he did right. Other inmates would start rambling on and on about their personal gripes about prison camp, to a point where it was more of a 2-hour discussion about what they want to change about the camp, not so much what they would need to do to go home. A lot of the inmates in that space were down for 5 or 6 years prior, sometimes even upwards of 10. They didn't seem to have the know-how or want to change because they're so institutionalized. This is all the life that they knew. Also, the programming, which was going to work, whether in food service, the powerhouse, learning the trade, in GMC, a lot of inmates just sat there. There was a place called GM6, General Maintenance Department 6. The theory was you go there, learn how to build or learn how to fix a car, or learn how to fix the little maintenance stuff around the camp. You had so many inmates in that place that there wasn't enough work for everyone to do anything with. So inmates just sat there and played cards. Some inmates literally went to sleep, clocked in and went to sleep. Some inmates felt that they wasn't getting paid enough, so they didn't work that hard. The most I made at prison camp was $83 a month. Some people at GM6 made somewhere between $10 and $15 a month. If they really liked you and you had a lot of seniority, you might have made $100. And considering that $100 at prison camp was balling. that's probably you guys making $5,000 a month. But the inmates still felt like they wasn't getting paid enough, so they didn't work that hard. And it wasn't like, they can get in like hell out of trouble. Some of them were so institutionalized that they got sent to the hole, they didn't care. If they got sent to a higher institution, they didn't care. They had more fun there anyway. The white collar criminals such as myself, we were a little more intimidated. So when we got to the job, we did try to do as hard, we worked as hard as we could because we didn't want to go to the hole. Prison camp was already hell enough for me. What I learned at the job, where food service or working in the powerhouse trying to get a trade, did not translate to the real world. I think one person in the 5 years the federal camp was open got a GED. All the other ones just basically went there and hung out.